With a potentially devastating trade war looming, Toronto City Council is exploring ways to buy more domestic products and launching a campaign urging you to do the same. Council has unanimously approved a plan for a Buy Local, Buy Canadian campaign to encourage residents and businesses to purchase locally made goods. Now, joining us now live is Councillor Mike Colle, who put forward this motion. Councillor, thanks so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I guess just describe this Buy Local campaign. What is it going to entail?
Well, first of all, it's going to entail a review of all city contracts because we have a capital budget bigger than most provinces of $60 billion we buy in construction contracts and buying TTC trains, Toronto Hydro. So all these contracts going forward will be looked at, and with the view of buying Canadian first. Also, any consultants we hire in the city departments, any food we buy, because we have all these child care centers, community centers, everything. So everything we buy is going to be looked at through that Canadian lens.
Yeah, just to pick up on the review of the procurement policies, I think the city manager said yesterday less than 10% is spent on, U.S. goods and services, and he's, warning council against a blanket ban on purchasing U.S. goods and services. Where do you stand on that issue?
Well, I think we've got to be very aggressive here. This is not business as usual, and I'm on the side of pushing hiring Canadians on ensuring that any contracts have to meet that Canadian smell test. We just don't have a choice but to be aggressive because, if these tariffs come in, it's going to mean whole-scale job losses. Our dollar's going to go down, so it's going to mean higher taxes in Toronto. When people can't pay their taxes and lose their jobs, it's a huge economic impact. So that's why we're looking at, and we hope that other cities in the GTA will do the same thing, whether it be Brampton, Hamilton, Barrie, every city should, and so if we all come together and look at all these contracts and with a Buy Canadian lens, I think we can at least try to inoculate ourselves against the next wave, which is coming in 30 days, and who knows what's going to come after that.
I understand if you can't put, a dollar figure on it, but do you have any sense of how much the new budget spends on U.S. goods and services?
Well, the new budget, we know for sure that we have an operating budget, and that's basically almost out the door next week. But then we have the capital budgets we spend throughout the year. So again, it's something that we're looking at. Whatever dollar we can do, it also sends a message to the Americans that we're not just going to sit back and take this. And again, if we all come together as a Team Canada approach with other municipalities, province of Ontario, and Canada, if we all do this, we're going to have an impact to send a strong message to the Americans. And then on top of that, we're going to have a promotion campaign encouraging Torontonians and people in the GTA to buy local Canadian goods.
I wanted to ask you about that because I certainly do not want to take away from that initiative or suggest that, buying local is not important. But I think some consumers might be wondering, how does me changing my shopping habits actually safeguard jobs in Canada and in Toronto? And how does it actually affect change, in the U.S.?
Well, what happens if you're buying Canadian goods, you keep the Canadian workers working. Because once you buy American products, you're basically sending your money to the States. So keep the money here, keep the jobs here. And I'll tell you, the Canadian consumers, Toronto consumers, GTA, they're ahead of us. They're ahead of government. People are in a tidal wave of patriotism. They're going to every store, and then the stores are even reacting. I see some stores are already advertising all over the place saying, hey, we have Canadian products. And even on their shelves, they're putting Canadian promotions on. This is made in Canada. And some of them are even American-owned chains. So they're getting the message because I've never seen Canadians so riled up, so united. So this madness out of the Washington has had a positive effect, and that Canadians have really, I've never seen such patriotism since Paul Henderson scored the goal in, in '72. It's amazing what people are, how they're reacting to this.
Yeah, I think the saying goes, don't let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah, and, it's an opportunity.
Thank you. Councillor Mike Colle, I have to leave it there. I'm at time. Appreciate your time this morning.
Yes, and buy Canadian, totally, totally.
Thank you.